What's up everyone, I'm back with another video, again as always, and this video is based on a question. And that question is this, simply: is video gaming dying? Now this question is not an easy one to answer. There's many different perspectives and opinions on this. But here's the thing, I'm going to do a quick run through. See, there's two sets of people, like if you want to simplify it. There's the people who say, no, it's not. Games are becoming bigger than ever, they're more popular, more mainstream, they're selling, like the Call of Duty, Destiny, like all these big games are selling like shit. And they'll say gaming is better than ever. But then there's the other side who's it's slowly dying because the more DLC, more microtransactions, it's affecting the game. And people can say, but this earns the game industry more money. But at the same time, it's slowly decreasing the reputation. See, there's people on that side who say it is dying. They tend to be like more old school gamers. They remember back in the days when you bought a game like a cartridge or a disc, you got the full game. Like, compare modern gaming to the way it is now. Well, compare modern gaming to the way it was back then, I meant to say. Oh god. And that is that nowadays when you go to buy a game, like on the PS4, Xbox One, hell, even the PS3, 360, you buy a game now, you never get the quite full game. There's always going to be some form of DLC you'll buy later down the line. It could be a small thing or it could be a big thing. But either way, nowadays, DLC is the norm. And that's something that's very strange to gamers back in the past. Because back in the past, like on the Super NES, Nintendo 64, PS1, PS2, when you went to buy a cartridge or a disc, you got the full game. No DLC. Everything that was ever going to be in that game was sit on that disc or cartridge. And from my personal opinion, I feel that I prefer that way. I prefer when you get a game that is the full experience, that is the full game. No. Expansions are a different thing. They're technically a form of DLC, but an expansion can be like a mini game part of itself. But that's a topic for a different time. For now, we're just going to focus mainly on DLC that's added to the core game. And the thing is that before you buy a disc or a cartridge, you get the full experience. And the DLC that we had to pay for now used to be unlockables back then. And it was much more fun to earn these unlockables that added to the game experience instead of having to pay extra money. I feel that when you pay extra money to buy DLC or microtransactions, it cheapens the experience. That's me personally. Other people might feel that way. They're just like, it's fine, if I have to pay a couple extra bucks, I will. But for me, I personally prefer the old way, and I know a lot of people who do, but it's a very interesting question. There's a lot of aspects to this whole, is video gaming dying, but for me, I don't want video gaming dying. If anything, I hope video gaming gets bigger and bigger, but at the same time, there's aspects that right now that are really starting to bother me. Like I said back in my Destiny review, I said it felt kind of like, I really like Destiny, but you can feel like it's catering to like extra DLC. And one day, when we buy the disc, it might just be a disc and we have to buy the content to add to it. And the thing is, that's actually not, that's not like too like far off. Like, it's not something that would never happen. It's possible. When you really think about the way a game has gone from back then to now, it's slowly starting to build up to that moment. And I hope it doesn't, but there's signs. And people talking, will there be another video game crash? Personally, I can't see one happening for a while, but if things keep going the way they go and companies keep trying to exploit the customer, like with more DLC and microtransactions, season passes, I think eventually, maybe not as bad as before, but I think there will be some form of video game crash. But then again, that's just a speculation. No one is sure about it. But that's why I prefer the kind of retro games. When I mean retro, I'm not talking like all the way back to Atari, no. I mean like, even like Super Nintendo, even PS2 and even some 360 games, they're not technically retro. But like, I prefer the older games, because the more newer we get, I'm not saying the games get bad or worse, but the DLC is being more emphasized. And I know I made another video focusing on DLC, but that's not the only problem with gaming, but it's one of the main things. There's so many other things that's wrong with the gaming, like developers taking shortcuts, they're not releasing the full product. False advertising, that's a big one. Like, one of the biggest examples is Rockstar. Before GTA 5 came out, Rockstar were considered one of the biggest companies in the world. They still are. Their games sold massively well. But the problem is that there's this little thing. The online. I personally found the online for GTA 5 a bit disappointing. But that's not even the main issue. The main issue is that they advertise online bank heists. And that was good at least a year or more ago, and there's still no sign of them. They can say that they're trying to make sure they're working perfectly, but they advertise these to be in as soon as possible, and they're not yet found. People don't want when you advertise something to a game, when you advertise a game to the people, they expect what you advertise to be in it, and if tons of companies do this, it might be big things, but there's these little things they do. And it's just like an example of how much bullshit is slowly getting into the gaming industry. And I really hope that the industry turns around eventually and starts going back to the golden days of gaming, as people like to call like the Super Nintendo days. But at the moment I can't see it happening, but I hope it does. Overall, gaming isn't bad at the moment. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of bullshit coming associated with gaming, but overall it's still going strong. I just hope most of the bullshit gets cut out in the future. We can go back to just having great games that we can all enjoy. With that being said, that's all I wanted to say. And as always, if you like, comment, subscribe, do whatever you want, and I'll see you next time.